Thank you, Chairman. Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, let me thank the Flight Safety Foundation to give me personally, but also to my company, ENAV, to have the presentation here, because we have been selected in a lot of numbers of presentations, so for us it's an honor. But also, let me think that we are in Milan today, and one of our guests is Fondazione 8 Ottobre, that starts on the 8th of October of 2001, when an accident occurs in Linate. Everybody of you surely understand and remember that kind of accident. And so for me today, the task of the presentation is speaking about runway incursions today, be hosted by the Fondazione 8 Ottobre, the Flight Safety Foundation. It's not only a privilege, but let me say I'm proud to do it for all of you. So, runway incursions is surely a significant aviation asset. We don't have to forget this. We need to be focused on this problem. Nowadays, we believe it's more than yesterday because the average numbers of traffic at airports, it's also because the low level of numbers of runways available all over the world in the major, let me say, concrete airports that we have in Europe and in the States and all over. It's leading to numbers of risk to be managed. Starting from the definitions, I got the definitions of runway incursions. It's always better and good to remember to all of us that it is any occurrence at an aerodrome involving the incorrect presence of an aircraft, but also vehicles and persons on the protected areas, and not only on the runway. The protected area is often designated for the landing and takeoff of an aircraft. These are the theory. We'd like to share with all of you in which way ENAV try to attack and also to address this problem, to try to solve it. So the runway are protected surely by markings, signs, runway guard lights and alarm, stop bars on any categories you can fly, phraseology procedures, but nevertheless all of this, runway incursions may occur because some human could make mistake. And so we need to look to concentrate our effort to the human being in order to see in which way we can support our operational people. Of course, we are speaking about controllers because we are navigation service providers, but you will see in today's presentation, we believe it's very important to be in a wide way to address and to attack the problem. So the humans in runway incursions is playing the major role. Look at some figures, but it's very quickly. In the United States, until 2008, something as an average of 3 runway incursions per day. We know last week that from FAA statistics in 2009, they reduced at least almost 40% of numbers of runway incursions. That means that is good results. In Europe, we are not so different. At least 2 runway incursions per day, but maybe because of the way to report the runway incursions, this could be considered only the tip of the iceberg. So we believe that there's major numbers of runway incursions even in Europe. Let me consider in which way we are going to protect our runways, in which way we want to attack the problem. The runway incursions for us is the highest priority to address. We are fully convinced that the airport risks are the majority for an NSP point of view. Because at airports, we are speaking about reductions of separations in the air, but in the air, 2.5 miles are always 5 kilometers. So on the runway, we are very close. We are short landing. We have departure traffic while the other one is still on the runway. So the separations between aircraft at the airport is surely closer than and reduced by comparison what is happening in the air. And we believe that only with the contribution with all the stakeholders involved in that airport operations is possible to engage the good battle against the runway incursions. We cannot consider runway incursions only a problem of an NSP, only the problem of pilot, only problem of an airport authority. It's a global problem as we want to face exactly all together to try to find a way to solve. Of course, some one of us have to take the more concentrations on our own business, but at the end we need to harmonize everything all together. That's what happened in my house. We were starting from 2003 engaged in a very in a strong way, the way to attack the runway incursions. But the latest statistics comes from 2008, and we reduced by half numbers of runway incursions depending on ATC. Good results, we believe. But the complete numbers of runway incursions in Italy are growing anyway. And this is the difference between all the events occurred in wide terms, I mean the long barrier, and these are what the impact of ATC. So we can say that we are quite satisfied for what is happening from ATC point of view, but the number of runway incursions are still increasing. So we need to take care of this, to consider this in order to find a way to solve it. For us, the runway safety is a shared responsibility. The main actors for this are, sure, the regulator, ATM, both approach and tower controllers, airlines, so pilots, but both of them, airport operators, vehicle drivers and pedestrians. We implement the total system approach. We were the driver at our aerodrome to try to solve altogether the problem. The driver's problem is my problem. The controller problems must be the problem of airlines and pilots and so on. Which way what's the process that we follow? First of all, we need to identify, of course, the errors, the possible errors that an air traffic controller could do while controlling at control tower for the preventions of the runway incursions. The main error that we identified are forget the clearance issued, or take off or land. The prospective memory is the weakest that we have. To say, okay, these things I will do later, and while doing something else, is the weakest period of our memory. So we can forget that we already issue a clearance for takeoff or for landing, and we can clear to cross the runway from some drivers or some other airplane. So we need to take care of this, and we need to apply procedures on this. Incorrect hearback. Someone is convinced to have been listening to some response, to some answer by pilot, but maybe it's not correct. The phraseology, we need to stress the problem of standardization of phraseology, to use the right phraseology. It's not a case that a cow decided to have a standard phraseology for the airport operation. We need to follow it, and we need to stick to the training of controller on this. Similar code sign and wish hearing problem, constructive memory. I'm eager to listen to some answer for the pilot. I'm fully convinced that the answer will appear to my ear, but the answer doesn't arrive for me. I receive that kind of answer. This is one of the most frequent errors that we found. Inadequate coordination between air traffic controller. So this problem of team working is a problem of procedures follow into the control tower. All of these are human factors for all of us. And we decided to tackle the problem. In which way? To consider the error exactly one of the major risks. These are human error, so we decided to put not into the safety management the human factor sectors, but we need to look and to let them work closely to the operations. So we decided to have a human factor department and exactly internally the operation in order to support the operation to do better, but also to share with the safety managers of the company and to share with all the rest of the stakeholders facing the safety a better work and a better decision to follow. But of course, we looked also at some of the errors of the others. I'll be very quick because maybe you know better than me. For pilots, read back and do something else. Okay, we are clear for takeoff while checking the takeoff or the landing checks and so on. Prolonged takeoff and landing time. I cleared someone to take off, and the takeoff will happen 2, 3, 4 minutes later. And the taxi errors leading to runway incursions. We don't know exactly the map of the airport, so I've been errored by taxiing. We're sharing also for pilot. Misidentifying the position, low visibility conditions. Of course, the fog is one of the worst enemy that the pilot could have on unknown airport, especially. But look at the drivers. It's one of the most important problems that we have on airport. With a friend of mine 2, 3 days ago, we were observing while taxiing to the airport that the majority of numbers of movement are cars. Airports is becoming a highway, no more an airport. So we have a long and numbers of movement on the apron area on the taxi. So the airport authority has to take into account this kind of problem. So the drivers read back and doing something else also for them. Taxi errors are also for them. We're sharing also for the drivers. Misidentifying of the position. Exactly the same problem that the pilot has. Lack of familiarization with airborne signs and markings. These are training. Pilots and controllers have been attended professional training courses. The drivers is very difficult that they could attend this one, especially in Italy, we believe. It's a problem of workforces, of manpower, but we have the problem of professionality of the drivers at the airport. Failure to comply with ATC. They don't know maybe exactly in which way they have to comply to the ATC instructions. Communication errors. They don't know exactly in which way to use the radio telephony. Inadequate training, of course, and lack of radio tele-equipment. We could have no good radio to be used at the airports. I'd like to share with you, if Bill Gates allow us to let us, the movie runs, some real events that just to tell in which way we try to tackle the problem, not only speaking about theory, but also and especially looking at what is really happening. Please, let us start the first move. This is a situation at Malpensa Airport. I'd like to thank SEA to let us see in this way. This is a 3-5 left. I believe we need the audio, if it's possible. It's leaving. Audio. Okay, anyway, this is two airplanes crossing the 3-5 left runway, and we have an aircraft clear for takeoff here.
1692, 35 left, clear for takeoff, wind count. Clear for takeoff, 35 left, Tower 692. Journal 7 Lima Echo, hold short of 35 left at Foxtrot, call you. Short 35 left on Foxtrot, 7 Lima Echo. Circa l'80 sta attraversando, Italia 1692, cancel the clearance, please stop your takeoff. Stop takeoff, Italia 1692. Sorry, Italia 1453, our mistake.
This shows two things. We use this real event to learn the lessons. And we can see from this event that a pilot following some other one crossing the runway, in spite that they've been instructed to hold short the runway 35 left, continue to follow in the traffic ahead and continue to taxi and crossing the runway while an aircraft have been cleared to take off. Good reactions from controller. No, there's another one thing before. The second aircraft following that one that was crossing the runway called the control tower and say, hey guys, take care. Someone is crossing the runway in front of me because they've been listening to the clearance for takeoff. And the controller has good reactions. Stopped immediately the takeoff aircraft, and fortunately everything was going well. And the pilot said, I'm sorry, that's my fault. This is a good way to approach the problem. And we coordinated with Alitalia all this kind of event. We try to reinforce the training both for pilot and control on this event. Try to make the second one. No, it doesn't work. Bill Gates don't want for me to present you. Anyway, this one, we try again. Oh, it's perfect. Okay, it works. I'm sorry, Bill. We are at night here. There is an aircraft, you see, this is a search radar, approaching to land 2 miles on final. And there's a car here, not in contact.
Please, the perform standard missed approach will be Saronno 4000, runway engaged by a car not in contact with us.
No answer.
Boeing 6394, standard missed approach, please, Saronno 4000.
No answer.
Boeing 6394. Boeing 6394, standard missed approach, we have a car on the runway not in contact with us, if available at the end of the runway.
You are on flat.
Thank you, Boeing 6394, just a while for the frequency of Milano.
Sorry, can you confirm the frequency?
Just a while for the frequency and perform standard missed approach on Saronno 4000, 125, 625 with Milano.
Copy, performance, I don't know, miss approach 4,000 feet, 16 and 4.
Okay, what some to discuss about. First, the tower controller was all in a sudden aware of the entrance of a car in the runway. No more than 5-6 seconds, she was able to look at the radar to observe that the car not in contact with her was engaging the runway. Secondly, the tower controller called actually the pilots, no answer in 2 times, 2 miles on final. But what can I say to my controller? Instead of saying perform a missed approach, I believe 6-7 times, she continued to repeat that kind of instruction. She has to say pull up, overshoot. That is some phraseology that immediately is being listened from by pilots. So instead of saying please perform a missed approach, it could mean that there's no danger at all, but means a procedural problem only. Please proceed on a standard missed approach. No, you have to pull up, you have to interrupt your landing, you have to overshoot absolutely. This is one thing that we could learn from this. Second, by pilot point of view, take care of the communications while on final, 2 miles on final. So you have to take care that the landing period, landing time is something that's very crucial for you know, all of you knows, but of course we need to take care of this one. Last, no, okay, we can survive, huh? Okay. This is while snowing. There was snow in Malpensa. You see a lot of clutter on the radar.
Berlin 504 Yankee, wind 3304, clear to land 35 left.
Berlin 504 Yankee, 35 left, clear to land.
The traffic
Delta
has been...
74, right, Delta Mike, hold short of 35 left.
Right, and Delta Mike, hold short of 35 left, Delta 74.
The Delta have been extracted here, just landed 35 right.
Swiss 183 Charlie identified, contact 12675, Squawk Island.
Identical 12675, Charles, Swiss 183 Charlie.
The Delta will follow this taxi route, has to have been extracted to hold short on this runway holding positions and to cross runway here, but just after the landing of this aircraft, 2 miles on final, at Berlin already clear to land. No other traffic, eh? This is the cleaning of the runway, eh? The majority of the runway incursions happens while the situations are exactly like this. 1 or 2 aircraft. Controller is relaxed. Pilots on final 1 mile. 3 greens and locked. We are waiting for this. But controller safe. To be sure, let me call again the Delta. Because the speed is so high.
Delta 74 landing in progress, maintain Delta Mike.
Delta 74 is holding short, it's a real slick out here. Delta 74, we're sliding, we can't hold short.
Okay, Berlin 504 Yankee, go around.
Berlin 50 Yankee, going around.
Okay, you see, the Delta we can interrupt, thank you. The Delta overshoot the holding runway position. He is not into the runway, but by the definition that we saw before, for us, technically speaking, is runway incursions. So good job by controllers instructing the Air Berlin to overshoot, and the Air Berlin was completely aware of the problem and so pull up immediately. From this, we use this situation to share with all the actors identified into this kind of event. So we identified exactly which are the problems for runway incursions. Airport design. The airport layout is essential. Malpensa has been developed and designed with 2 parallel runways, but to take off or to land on runway 35 right, to go to the main apron, you have to cross 1 runway. Signs and markings. We need to be in the right position for signs and marking. Read back and ear back clearance, coordination between ground and tower, technology, insufficient actors training, insufficient lesson dissemination through airport community. In which way we try to face these problems? Learning from the past, we analyze and investigate these kind of issues, safety assessment before any change, training and all possible actors on the problem, normal operation safety survey. This is very important. We need to identify, to analyze the normal operation to identify, even if no runway incursion incident or near runway incursion, we need to identify into the normal operation where are our problems, our failure. Technology, of course, we need to invest a lot in technology. Communications, so we need to have a good way to communicate into the operation, but also to communicate the event and in which way we are going to solve them. Good procedures, airport signs and marks, enlightening, sharing the lessons, and real events for training. Which way we try to reduce this kind of risk. We endorsed in 2003 the European Action Plan for Prevention of the Runway Incursion, the first delivery of this plan, and we decided not to have this implementation as a recommendation. For us, it's compulsory to implement all the recommendations internally there. It was my order, operational order to my controllers to say, you have to apply this prevention action plan. Or we implement the local runway safety team. What is the local runway safety team? That is one of the recommendations to the plan. Is a room where we can discuss about safety at airport, but they are not safety in general terms. What are the risks at that particular airport? So in their environment, we can speak completely, openly, transparently, and directly between controller, pilots, drivers, airport authority, air navigation service provider, and airline. And we share the problems in that problem. I'd like to let the pilots know what are the specific problems of Malpensa, Linate, Fiumicino, Turin, Venice Tower. And I know exactly, receive from them what are the problems that they are facing landing or departing from that airport. Identify the local risk and relative mitigations actions. But also we did something different. We provide our controllers at our airdrome with a huge amount of technology that the state of the art. We implement a lot of technology. You need to take into account that the 70% of our investment plans are leading to safety, instead of capacity and punctuality. We want to be safe. Engagement and cooperation with the Eurocontrol and airlines for similar call sign. That is one of the major problems that they are facing at airports. Investment in new technology. Dedicated local awareness campaign. We dedicated the campaign at the single airport to identify exactly the risk to let all the people aware about these risks. Distribute runway safety materials. Something more. We publish in our aeronautical information publication the hotspots to let the pilots, controllers, and drivers aware where are the problems at the airports from the airport layout. Some example. These are the map published in AIP by Malpensa. You see exactly here, we highlighted where we saw the problem before, 1 and 2. Exactly. You can read any instructions and any suggestion, both to pilots and drivers and controllers. These are Linate hotspot map. The last but not least, the greatest airport that we have in Italy, that's Rome Fiumicino. Not only, we talk about the drivers. I told you, maybe it's the main issue that we have nowadays at the airports. Incursions can be reduced if we are able to train the people working on the maneuvering area. So we decided to provide for free the operators to drive safely on the maneuvering area. We train the drivers at airports in order to let them understand in which way the mic techniques, the radio telephony call sign, and which way they can call towers to be clear to cross the runway or not. And also we decided with the CIA to participate to the examination of the driver's license at airports. But we don't need to stop. We cannot stop on this. What we are doing to continue to attack the problem? We are going to continue our SMS. SMS is not a document. It is not a final document. SMS is a culture into the company. SMSs need to be continuing a reviewing of the problems that we have, the continue renewing of procedures that we install in the company. So we consider the safety management system something that is a live document, that it is not a document, but it's a live procedure, it's a live way of attacking the problems, a new way of culture to see it, to consider the air traffic safety. We try to improve aviation community participations into the runway incursions. This is one of the most important for me occasions that I have also some people from the company listening to me, but also pilots, representations of professional associations, and we have airlines, airports. It's very important for me to let the people not to forget, not because it's 9 years that no accident is going to be occurred in Italy. We need to consider that this is a risk always present at the airport. We need to concretely act against this. Reinforce top commitment on reporting. This is a problem. We have been hearing about just cultures. For example, in Italy, we have a problem, a legal problem for just culture, but at least internally into the company, we decided not to blame no one about the operations. Of course, we need to understand why something happened. We need to identify if some actions has been taken not clear into and stick to the procedures, but we need to understand why and need to retrain. If one controller could make an error while operating, maybe the problem is my problem. I need to train them. I not provide the controllers with enough training. So concentrate the investigation on significant runway incursion. We cannot lose time, and it's never losing time, but we are shortage of resources, of course. So we need to identify to take out the major events. We need to best sharing the ATC best practices. I'd like to say good practices. We are well linked into the NSP associations council to sharing the problem of runway incursion. We want to continue to share this problem, also bilaterally speaking. Better monitoring of call sign confusions. I'm perfectly in time, Chairman. Huh? You know, for a traffic controller not to be punctual could be a crazy, yeah. So we'd like to finish with this last slide. We like to give way to potential. We are completely optimistic about our main investment, so human being. Our personnel, our controller has the best investment that an NASP could do. And so we need to continue to act in which way? We want to be courage. The courage in which sense? In terms to say, I had a problem, I made a mistake, I'd like to call the airline involved in the event to say, I had a problem, I want to speak with you, I want to identify with you where's my problem, could you tell me something which way I can support, you can support me in identify the mitigations of this. And of course for this we need to be transparent. We want to be transparent both internally, both externally with the stakeholders. Just culture is something that I told you before, is one of the main issues. As soon as an overshooting is happening in Italy, we are on the newspapers, on the first page. Accident just avoided, but maybe it's a normal overshooting without any runway incursions at all. But this could be a problem for the culture that we want to implement into the company. And reporting culture, everything is linked, you can see, as a process. And participations. Participations mean that we want all controllers to participate to the problem. We want all the pilots to participate of the problem. We installed a customer care campaign. We engaged the major airlines acting on our airports. We have decided to have a direct link with the safety managers of the airline to call our safety managers to say what's happening at that airport or the other airports also in India in order to be having the participation of the airline, the pilots themselves. And of course, open communication, team working. This is crucial for us. We must be able to let the controller speak while during the relief, or to speak between managers to say, I got this problem, I identified this error, I can act on this airport, to its procedures, to its training, and so on. We need to communicate and to share not only the best practice, but it's most important to share the worst practice. Where is my error? I can share to all the others in order to prevent and to avoid that also the others could do the same error that I did. This is final, and we finished the presentation. Thank you, all of you, to have been listening to me and to give me again the opportunity to speak to you. Thank you very much.